Indiana University has released a review by the law firm it hired to look into its response to the pro-Gaza protest in Dunn Meadow in April. Ethan Sandwise spoke yesterday with University President Pamela Whitten and the lead attorney on that team and has the story.
State police arrested 57 pro-Gaza protesters at IU in April after IU changed an assembly policy. Those events have led to lawsuits against the university and faculty calls for the president's resignation. Whitten announced she was hiring a law firm to investigate the university's actions in June at the last meeting of the Board of Trustees.
To obtain the most objective viewpoint of the recent events in Dunn Meadow that can inform our decisions going forward, we issued an RFP and conducted a robust search for an independent firm to come conduct a review.
Cooley LLP specializes in corporate law, but its white-collar defense and investigations group led the review. The team's homepage says it conducts, quote, high-stakes investigations and defends companies and individuals in government enforcement actions. But IU and Cooley say the review was wholly independent.
What that really means is that we follow the facts where they lead us. We figure out what happened, and we do that by reviewing documents, by talking to people.
Cooley found that IU's last-minute change to Dunn Meadow's assembly policy was permitted both legally and under university policy, but it led to a lot of confusion. It says IU balanced free speech with campus safety and that sending state police was, quote, the safest option available to remove the encampment. Cooley also suggests creating a university-wide speech policy, which the trustees are already pursuing. It recommends the university make some changes,
including the fact that IU should approve a new expressive activity policy, communicate clearly any changes in policy and what those changes mean, and improve communications with critical constituencies on campus.
Despite a lawsuit against the university by the ACLU and dismissed charges against protesters by the Monroe County prosecutor, the review generally affirms IU's legal claims. Asked if she was surprised by the results, Whitten said she just received them yesterday and need more time to go over them.
Based on my first read-through, it hits the mark for me. In general, their findings really resonated as issues on our campus, and I thought their recommendations made good sense.
Whitten told WTIU she'd been thanked by parents and students for acting to keep students safe. Many students and faculty in the Meadow that day said they felt threatened by the militarized police response. When asked if any of the parents were worried the police presence made their students feel unsafe, Whitten had this to say.
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it's possible that something came in that I haven't seen, of course.
Authors of the 75-page report interviewed more than 24 people, including 11 specified administrators at IU, officers from the IUPD and ISP leadership, the Monroe County prosecutor, and students and faculty. Donaleski said they tried without success to interview 2 protest leaders. When asked, she didn't say specifically whether they had spoken with any protesters.
We spoke with a number of students who were there on that day, who had friends in the encampments.
IU released the report publicly on Thursday, and it's available to read on its website.
Now we're joined now by Ethan Sandwise. Ethan, when you spoke with President Whitten yesterday, did she indicate any type of second thoughts?
She didn't. She said that she didn't want to see what happened in the spring happen again in the fall, but she's stuck by her actions.
This commitment to safety really was the North Star for all of our decisions, in that season, and I stand behind the decisions that we made at that time.
Despite campus units calling for her resignation, the ACLU lawsuit, and coverage in the national media, President Whitten says she feels she was acting in the best interests of the university community. I think this report's findings are going to reinforce that belief for her.
So what else is in this report that you weren't able to touch upon in this story?
But one of the longest parts of the review is a breakdown of all the events since April 24, when the university leaders met to discuss how they would handle the encampment. What I've seen so far isn't terribly revealing, but it sheds some light still on some of those backroom processes that shaped how these things unfolded. There's also mention in there about a committee that met to create last-minute changes to the assembly policy. One member said who was interviewed said that they felt the administration had already made its decision before they gathered. That doesn't mean they did, but it does give us an idea about how these committee members saw their own role.
So the report says that IU had a call on the state police because IUPD couldn't handle that situation. So what is Cooley saying in this report on how to handle that situation?
Well, first off, they recommended creating more explicit rules for when the state police can be called. One of the things that makes these protests so chaotic was a lack of warning and clear policy by the university. Second, they recommended getting the IUPD to a larger staffing level. IU is trying to grow the department already. President Whitten told me that their budget next year will increase by $5 million. The police recently offered officers a raise to become more competitive with other Indiana agencies.
So I don't know, is this report going to have any type of change in how the community is seeing this situation?
I would be surprised if it did. You really can't underestimate the visceral effect on people in Dunn Meadow in April when they saw students being tackled and arrested by police. The fact, too, that these findings were so in line with what the administration has already said is likely to generate some skepticism. True, IU hired the Cooley law firm for what they called an independent review. Cooley also maintains it had complete independence. The fact is that's not really something we can prove or disprove with the information available right now.
All right, Ethan, thanks so much for your reporting. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.